Welcome, ladies. Welcome. Welcome back. So glad to see you. So glad to have the privilege to have this time with you. As you've noticed, we've changed our venue. I've moved around a little bit. I thought it was apropos in consideration that we are talking about change. So I thought I'd do something a little different. Send me a note in the comments section. Let me know what you feel about this space. If it doesn't work for us, we'll go back to where we were. Just that simple. How are you doing? How was your week? Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to have you with me today. I got so many comments and questions about last week's video, Peace in the Revolution, that I decided to do a follow up video. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let's get started. First, before I go any further, hi, my name is Sonora, and you have tuned into Soon, Something Out of Nothing by Sonora, which is a channel for us to come together, to be open, honest, to grow, to mature, to be real with ourselves and with each other, to deepen our relationship with the divine, and to deepen the relationship with ourselves, as well as deepen the relationship with our fellow sisters. Whether you are Jewish or Catholic, or as I said last week, Buddhist, which I know some of you weren't happy about, but you know what? Everyone is welcome. I will neither exclude or remove anyone. You're welcome here. Welcome to Soon. So before I get started any further in, I want to say a very happy birthday to my oldest daughter. She got on me. She said, "Mommy, stop calling names. I'm just so happy about the people that I know and the people that I'm connected to. I'm so impressed by you all that I say, hey, y'all, guess what? I know such and such." And so I promised her I'd stop calling names. So to my princess, my reina, my queen, happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday. Okay, let's jump right in. First, I want to just do a little bit of a recap for those who are new to our channel. What is Soon? What are we about? What are we doing? This is a channel that was set up for us to grow from the inside out, to find our beauty, to recognize our beauty, and to grow in our beauty from the inside out. So part of that growth is recognizing that everything we do is about relationship. Whether it's our relationship with the divine, the relationship we have with ourselves, or the relationships that we have with our fellow sisters, our co-workers, those we mentor, those we care for. It's so important to recognize that if we don't cultivate those relationships in those orders, that we won't be as successful as we can, because at the end of the day, we are trying our best to be our best. And what else can anyone ask for, right? Okay. So, in that process, we are working through a journey of change. And if you were new to this channel, I'm going to do a little bit of a recap, but the best that I can recommend is that you just go back a couple of videos and see where we've progressed through this journey and where we are today and how this all relates to what you want to become. But I'm just in recap, we've been likening this journey of change to rehabbing a house, is the analogy that we've used. So the first thing is identify a room. We start with a room. We don't tear down the whole house, right? We start with a room. So find out what it is within yourself that you want to change. Don't go through a whole laundry list of everything that you can think of. Find that one thing that you know you've been feeling that's been nagging at you, that's saying, take a look at this, Sonora. Take a look at this. Maybe they're right. And when you get to that moment, the next thing you want to do is you want to create a plan. Okay, if I'm going to rehab my kitchen, I need a plan of whether it's a financial plan, whether it's an architect plan. I need a plan. I just can't go in with a sledgehammer and get started. So work your plan. The next thing you need is permission. Even if you're doing work on the external of your house, you need to get permits. That's permission, right, from your local authorities. Even if you're working on the interior of your house, as the homeowner, you need to give permission for this work to be done. Otherwise, the contractors aren't going to touch it, or somebody's going to go to Home Depot and get the wrong thing, right? So we want to make sure that we have permission. Give yourself permission to change. Give yourself the permission to dig in, dive in, and reconstruct from the inside out. It is going to make a difference because at the end of it all, you'll be able to say, I said yes. Okay. And last but not least, we want to prepare. I remember years ago when I lived in Maryland, I rehabbed my kitchen. And so when I rehabbed my kitchen, it wasn't just about finding the contractor and getting someone in there and getting all the things done. It was also about how are we going to eat while this is happening? I had 3 or 4 kids. I don't know. I have 5, so I don't know at what point in the story how many I had, but there was some of those in the group, right? They were there. Um, and so my children are used to home cooked meals. Those of you who know how I raised my kids and what we were used to doing, um, it was a thing of get in the kitchen and prepare their meal for them every day. Well, guess what? We're going to be eating Stouffer's for about 6 weeks. And so they would sit and pick over the Stouffer's lasagna. This don't taste like your lasagna. This don't taste like your spaghetti and meatballs. Ew, this can't be mac and cheese. I got all kinds of conversation about that. But it required that I prepare for that moment. I moved the refrigerator into the dining room. I moved the microwave in there. I had a table that was my makeshift kitchen. Where are we going to wash the dishes? And if we're going to use paper products, we need to go and get those things. If you start your change without preparation, you're going to get into the middle of this and stop because you're going to start to think, I'm not ready. I didn't plan, prepare. I didn't sign up for this, meaning I didn't give myself permission. So I want you to think about those things before you just dive right in. Um, this is a thing that you're going to take to the divine and really get some insight, and you're going to focus on. All right, so now that we've done that little bit of backtrack, I just want to put a little shout out that coming soon, I'm thinking the third week in September, we are going to launch a new piece to soon, and that is, girl, pull your dress down. Pull your dress down. There are so many of us that grew up with our mothers giving us little stories, little sayings, little gems that didn't just grow us into womanhood, but made us ladies. And we're finding now in a very laissez faire world that people are just shedding some of those etiquettes that socially um, evolved us. So, want to just come back to sharing some of those things, that those little touches of femininity that transform us not just into a woman but also into a lady. So, girl, pull your dress down. That's coming in September. I'm so excited about that. Uh, so, going from there, we are going to jump into peace in the revolution. We started that journey last week with the date, and thank you so much. Your support, your views, your likes, your comments, your calls, your text messages. Oh my gosh, blessed my heart. It was something that I had not shared with, I don't think, any more than two or three people. And it really allowed me to feel myself. So thank you so much. But in the midst of sharing that, there are a couple of things I want to bring up. I'm kind of laughing. The first is, please forgive my grammatical um, uh, errors and my mispronunciation of words. Yes, that was my writing, as well as my poor intonations in part of the story. Listen, I cannot tell you how nervous I was. I'm sure some of you saw it. I had never been that transparent in sharing that. I think only two of my nearest and dearest, when I actually submitted it to my pastor after I wrote it, he kind of didn't know what to do with it. So, y'all pay for my pastors. I am not the average parishioner. You know, my mom was very involved in ministry, so I got a little insider's trading going on. And so I believe in giving my pastoral support feedback. This is their job as well as their passion, and they deserve feedback. So when I was given that assignment by my pastor, what else was I to do but when I developed that piece of writing afterwards, but share it with him? So he kind of was like, okay, that's Sonora. It's okay. Oh my gosh. So y'all pray for my current pastor because he's probably in the same boat and doesn't know quite what to do with Sonora, but y'all pray for him anyway because I'm not going anywhere unless God tells me to, and they are kind of stuck with me at my place of worship. I am looking at my notes because I want to stay on top. Normally, you can't see me looking at them because the camera's a little tighter. But you know what? This is real. This is honest. So I'm going to keep up with it. Um, okay. Was one other thing that I wanted to bring to the forefront that I brought up in my introduction last week. So before I jump into dissecting that story. In the intro, I talked about the intimacy that I have with my earthly daddy, my father, my biological father. And I got some comments. They were like, "You can't talk about your father and use the word intimacy. That makes people feel uncomfortable." But what is intimacy except a place where two souls meet, where two souls intersect, where they connect? And we should be able to have a level of intimacy with our children, with our spouses, with our parents. I consider that an honor to be able to have those kinds of honest conversations with my earthly daddy. So, you know, you get your mind out the gutter. I'm just going to say that, okay? All right. So let's jump right into the story. First of all, I want you to just be aware that this was a true story. It was not fictionalized. It was not some artistic uh, daydream. This was a true story. So I'm going to break it down to you so you understand how this all transpired. We did have an assignment from our pastor to go out and to either date ourselves or be in a spiritual realm out in a dating. So I took it quite literally and I said, all right, me and Jesus going on a date. So the relationship that I had, um, a spiritual relationship that I had at that time was very controlled, was very conformed by me. Um, And so, Jesus was to sit next to me and be nice. Be nice, Jesus. Okay, be nice. Be nice. Sit, Jesus, sit. Don't be doing all of that. Sit down. Okay, sit down. We're gonna be right here. I don't need you to be all over the place. Sit down, Jesus. I wanted Jesus right next to me. Just stay there. Don't say nothing unless I tell you to. right? That's we tend to do that sometimes, don't we? I don't want you to be involved in this piece of my life. This isn't for you. Don't look over here. This isn't for you. This is no. This is not for Jesus. This is for adults. This is not for Jesus's, right? We have this perspective that God isn't invited into certain areas or aspects of our lives because we don't feel uncomfortable. We feel that if we let God into it, He's going to wreak havoc with it. So we keep Him very separate. But the reality is He is the backhoe to create the havoc so that He can build the house. And I'm going to leave that right there. So I needed for God to be in a box for me because that was my coping mechanism. And then Deep Friend was my heartbreak. Um, and I'm going to go deeper into this, but my heartbreak had become my friend, my confidant, my motivation, my support system. I could always rely back on my sob story, my heartbreak. Um, So going through this, I need for you to understand the context under which I was at that time. So when I went out on this date, I purposed to make sure that my date performed like a date. So yes, I cleaned my whole house, and the one of the representations of setting up the bedroom in case we go there, because we all set places in our hearts where we won't sometimes let God in. You can have all the rest of me, but not this part. This is that wound I don't want you to touch because it hurt. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Leave that alone. Right? So that's what that represented of cleaning up my whole house. But I did, nonetheless. I cleaned my whole house. I picked out an outfit. Um, I prepared the dinner, and the dinner was fabulous. Y'all know I can cook, so the dinner was fabulous. I did all of those things as if I was going on a real date. And then we did go to the church. And so, what I want to say about the church scene, because it makes me kind of laugh. We all go to church, and sometimes we hear a scripture, and we know that we perceive that when the pastor starts a specific scripture, it's like, oh, I've heard this one. Oh, this is gonna be good. I heard this. This is a good sermon. Just yeah, and we go there. But what about those moments where we feel that heartbreak rising up inside of us, and then rather than address it in the moment, we quiet it down, we swallow it down, we feel the tears welling, but we won't let them release because we're afraid that we will be exposed that we're really hurting, right? Okay, so that's what that was about with Deep Friend and being with Deep Friend in the church. And y'all know how y'all do in church. Y'all hear that sermon and you be like, he preached this last Easter, girl. All right. I'm gonna get off of that. And so yes, I actually did go to the National Harbor down in DC waterfront and sat on a bench. And yes, a young man did actually come and sit next to me. And I was like, uh-uh, uh-uh. Oh no, he's not telling me all his business. I don't know what look I was given that made him feel like he could come and open up his whole heart, but he did. But Sonora was not really receiving that. Sonora was like, look, I am going through my date. You are interrupting it. But it was the spirit man that was in me that rose up and spoke words from my mouth that I don't think I knew. Um, it was the beginning of that encounter, of it coming out of me. And that's why I said it came from nice, because Sonora, in and of herself, would not have been able to soothe and comfort this man. After all, I was dating heartbreak, and um, my heartbreak's middle name was my ex husband, right? It was divorce. It was heartbreak divorce, right? So, no, I have no love remedies for you. You are trapped in the same hamster wheel that I am, where you just might as well make friends with your deep friend and move along, move along. But that's not what came out. And I wish to this day that I could repeat all of the words that were shared, but they were beautiful. They were beautiful. Going back to my home, I did. I had my dining table set. I sat down. I acted as if my Savior was sitting across from me. I ate my dinner, and at that point, I was ready to check the box. I had finished the assignment, an A, yay for me, done with this. I'm going upstairs. And it's when I went to my room that I felt this emptiness, this hollowness, the weight and the heaviness of my heartbreak fell on me. The loneliness of it all, the divorceness of it all, the single motherness of it all, the supervisor at work weight of it all, the sermon that I heard in a different light even resonated, and I felt this palpable sorrow in the room. And yes, I was crouched in a corner, sobbing my own woes, alone. And I did feel presence in the room, and I did feel comfort in the room, and I did feel peace in the room. And what peace felt like to me was just like I said in the story, that night that I was able to sleep without feeling the comfort of that friend heartbreak. Now, I agree with what I said in the story. Heartbreak didn't go away. The countenance changed, but it didn't go away. The dissolution of heartbreak was a process. So I don't want you to think if you cry it out, then your heart will be restored and life will go on. It's a process. And I want to say to you all, if you need to sit down and talk with somebody, talk with a counselor, there are so many options out there now. There is video chat. Many of us have a benefit called EAP, Employee Assistance Program, which does offer free counseling services for a number of sessions, but it will definitely get you started, which is usually offered through your employer. I personally take advantage of it every year. For me, it's free and my employer is paying for it. I'm going, you know. I will tell you, my counselor, I think it was last year. No, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago before COVID. I looked up, I get 6 sessions. I look up at session 5 and this person is like, I was like, wait a minute, are you falling asleep during my counseling session? Oh my gosh, is my life that pitiful? Woe is me. I'm boring even in counseling. But I want you to go ahead and take advantage of any option you have. You can even talk to your worship leader, okay, your ministerial staff, um, that will allow you an outcry or at least point you in the right direction to get the support and the help that you need. I want to encourage you today to take care of you. There is no shame in that game. Mm-mm. There are some very good Christian counselors that have been endowed with knowledge. There are some very good Jewish counselors. There is definitely a community out there for whatever your faith base is to offer you some support and some guidance. So please take advantage of it if you need it. All right, I want to go on and I want to um, go into a little deeper about deep friend and talking a little bit more about that heartbreak. We all experience heartbreak. We all have a story. We all have a journey. Your story is unique to you, but guess what? Everyone has one. We don't ever escape the heartbreak of struggle in this life. It's never, there is no get out of struggle free card at all for all of your life. If you escape it in your 20s, it's coming in your 30s. If you scoot through them 30s, all snap, catch you over those 40s, and we really don't want it in our 50s. I'm just going to tell you right now from where I'm sitting, I don't want that. um, but struggles do come and trials do come, and it's all about our abilities to know that they're coming and what interior soul preparations have you made. Um, okay, I'm going to move into the last section of this. So I'm just going to read this that I have written here. I think it's an important thing to share. It says, our relationship with the divine creator has to extend beyond the pretty parts of ourselves. At the point in the story that I'm exposing the wounds, that was the part where I was able to own some of my own mistakes, to own some of my own errors, to own some of my own faults that I had covered up, um, and blamed someone else, or covered up because I just didn't want to deal with it, or I didn't have time to deal with it. Um, but I was able to open myself up and let the ugly tears flow. Y'all know what I'm talking about, those ugly tears. And I was able to let the ugly side of Sonora, and really not throw it in God's face, but say, look, this is all I have to work with. It's not enough. And it was at that moment that he met me right where I was and said, you're right where I need you to be, and it's more than enough. So if you're thinking you don't know how to pray the right words, you don't know how to sing the right notes, or you don't know how to perform the right prayers, it's a conversation that is honest and sincere. And what I know about the divine creator, he knows the clay that you are made out of. He put it together. So, with that being the case, know that he knows where you're hurting. He knows where those secret places are. So, all you can do is just expose them and say, I can't do anything with this. I need to hand it over and let you do something with it. And you will not be disappointed. You will not. One of the things that I said at the end of the video, I want to alter a little bit, because after I said it, I said, oh, I didn't say it quite the right way. So I started out by saying, we can change the world with peace. My amendment today is, we can change the world with peace, but we can change generations with healing. What we do today, what we feel inside, and how it comes out of us affects our children, our spouses, our grandchildren. So it's about healing what's in here, so what wells out of us comes out in a way that will be healing, that will be supportive, that will be cautious, and that will have some divine intermixing in it, so that, again, generationally, and the next generation and the next generation, that healing can continue. So, are you starting to look like the change that you started back in video one? Is your plan starting to be activated? Are you starting to see some differences? Are the people around you starting to see some differences? I had that opportunity this past week, and it really felt quite good. Next week, I will be able to share with you what my area of change is, and it's something very near and dear to me. But I'll be able to share it with you, and it's still a work in process. I am no guru. The thing of it is, we're on this journey together so that we can arrive together. I will not leave you behind. You can go back and review and review and review. Are you getting your 5 minutes in? Are you taking your 5 minutes every day, every other day, every Tuesday? Don't forget, shut everything off, shut everything down, find a place to sit. And if you don't have anything to say, then just sit in quiet and let the quiet meditation come to your heart. But don't forget the conversation. That conversation is very important. So have the conversations as well. Sometimes your conversations very well may look like tears, and that's okay too. That's okay too. And last but not least, my love language is music. Music just does everything for me. And those of you who know me know that um, I can get going to music, or I can sit back and do nothing to music. By the way, did you get your wine glass? I got a new one this week, this little tulip thing. So cheers to you. Um, but music is my own soundtrack to life. It is my love language. So if you haven't had an opportunity, I want you to listen to the song Mirror in There by Layla Hathaway. It is very motivational. Put it on, go to the mirror, sing it to yourself. Sing it, serenade yourself. I always tell my girlfriends, if you don't know how to date yourself, don't expect anybody else to figure out how to date you. Love on yourself. Love on yourself. Let somebody catch you looking crazy. She's crazy. Yes, I'm crazy in love. um, so go ahead and make sure that you stay connected to this journey. We are doing this together. I promise you, I am not leaving you behind. Next week, we are going to talk about the resilience. All right, the resilience that comes out of this. I'm very excited to share that with you. So, in the meantime, if you haven't had an opportunity to listen to Peace in the Revelation, please click. I think it's going to be up here on my left hand, the little I at the top, and that will take you back into the link into the previous video so that you can have an opportunity to walk in that as well. You are my sisters. I can't do this alone. So I need you. I really, really need you. I feel your energy. I feel your love. I am praying for you. Please continue to pray for me. And this is Soon by Sonora. And I'll see you soon. Drop my remote. Hold on. There it is. See you soon.